Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let's take a look at how you can see your reminders in the Calendar app on your Mac. So there are two main apps you have on your Mac and other Apple devices that allow you to schedule things. One is, of course, the Calendar app. You could put an event at a specific time or date. Also, you've got the Reminders app, where you could have tasks that have no time or date associated with them at all, but also ones that do. Say they have a due date or a time where you should be doing that task. When you've got something that has a specific time, it can be confusing as to which one you should use. Should you use the Reminders app and put it in there, or should you put it as an event in the Calendar app? In general, think of the Calendar app as a place to put events, things where other people are involved, something you need to attend, for instance. Whereas the Reminders app is more about tasks, things that you need to do. And often these don't have a specific time associated with them. They're just things you need to do at some point. But sometimes they do have a due date or a specific time where you need to be doing that task. And in that case, you can create a reminder with a time. And when you do that, you could also see those reminders in the Calendar app. So you don't have to decide which one it goes into. You could do it as a reminder and also see it in the Calendar app. So here I've got both the Reminders and the Calendar apps open. In the Reminders app, in the default list, I've got three different items. Two of them have dates. One has a date and time assigned to it, while the other one has no date or time assigned to it. I have another list called Work Tasks, and I've got one item in here that has a date and time, a due date for this, whereas the other one has no specific date and time assigned to it. So I've got three total items in Reminders that have either dates or dates and times. Now, in the Calendar app, I've got a few events here. Now, it would be nice to be able to see these Reminders items also on the calendar, and you can. What you want to do is you want to look for Schedule Reminders under Other here. And if you don't see the sidebar here, you can go to View, and then you've got the Show and Hide Calendar List item there. And then if you don't see the items under Other, you may have to expand it like that. Then simply make sure Schedule Reminders is turned on. When I do that, you'll see these things appear here. So you'll see the two items here from my Reminders list. And then there's that third item, the one from the Work Tasks list there. These will appear here and they will mirror what you see in Reminders. So you get to see the same item in both places. Now, this is a new feature that started with macOS Sequoia and also on the iPhone and iPad with iOS and iPadOS 18. So you have to have those versions or newer. You could turn Schedule Reminders on or off as you like. So if you've got a ton of different reminders here and it clutters your calendar, you can have it off usually and maybe turn it on when you want to focus on getting some things done and you want to see your reminders alongside your events. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MacMost through Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. You can add a new reminder using either app. So here in the Reminders app, I'll go to Work Tasks here, and I'm going to add another work task with the plus button, and I'll add something here. And notice it does not appear at all in the calendar because there's no date for this. You need to select the information for this calendar event, and you need to at least add a date. So let's add February 23rd as the date. Leave off a time if you like, or you could add a time as well. Let's do 11 a.m. So now this has a date and time, and you could see it added to the calendar there. Likewise, you can use the Calendar app to add a reminder as well. So let's switch your reminders to the Reminders list. So we see that. And let's go in the calendar here, and I'm going to double click on this day right there. And you can see I can add a new event, but I could also switch to adding a reminder. And then you look and see this interface looks very different. Matter of fact, it's identical to the full editing interface you get in the Reminders app, even though I'm still in the Calendar app here. So I'll add a reminder here, and you can see since I double clicked on a date, it automatically filled in the date and the time. I could change that if I want. So let's change that to 10. And I can also select which list it appears in. So I've got the three lists I've got here. I'm going to leave it in the Reminders list, but you could set it to another one if you like. When I'm done, you could see it appears here in calendar, but it also appears here in reminders. It's not correct to say it added it to both in both places. It added one thing, a reminder, to your reminders database. And you're now viewing it in both the reminders app and the calendar app. So if you were to change something, like let's change that one we just created here, I will change the date to the 23rd. You could see how it changes here in both places. And I could do the same thing on a calendar. I could double click on the reminder in the calendar here. I've got this window here and I could change it. Let's change it to the 25th here. And you can see how it moves over there and the date changes here in reminders. There's also another way to add a reminder in the calendar app. You don't have to double click on a day here. You can click the plus button and you see you get new event, or you could click here and it goes to the reminders interface here to add a new reminder in the calendar app. Also note, when you delete a reminder here in the calendar app, like I've got this one selected, I'll press the delete key on my keyboard. It's deleted here as well because there's only one thing. It's just viewed in both places. I'll delete this one and you can see how it's deleted off of here as well. Also, you can move things by dragging them in the calendar app and move it to another day, and you can see how it updates there. Now, what about completing items? Obviously, in the reminders app, you complete an item by simply clicking on the little circle there, and then it's marked as completed and will go away unless you have show enabled here, where it will show the completed items. In the calendar, you have the same thing. Under view, look here and you could show completed reminders. So you could see the completed reminder here independently of whether or not you see the completed reminder here. And you can uncheck it in either place like that, and it affects both places, of course. Any other changes will also be reflected in both places because, again, it's just one item that you're updating using either app. So, for instance, if I wanted to take this and move it from work tasks to my regular reminders list, I could do that with drag and drop. And notice here how the color changes. So this blue color here reflects the fact it's in this list, which has a blue color here. If I change the reminders list to be orange, it will update here as well as in the reminders app. And this one has a red circle because it is in the work tasks list, which has a red color. Now, one last detail is what if you have a repeating reminder. Let's create a repeating reminder called repeat test. I'll click on the info button here and I'll set a date and I'll have it be a certain time, 11 a.m. And I will select for repeat weekly. So it's going to repeat every Monday like that. In the calendar, I'll see the current one as a full regular item here in the calendar app, and then a dimmed out version of that for everyone after it. If I were to complete this one in either app like this, notice how the next one becomes active. If I were to select this one and delete it, I can say delete this reminder only or delete all future reminders. And I could say skip that week. And here you can see this one's the next active one. It's not perfect. Like if I say, oh no, I accidentally clicked this here and I want to unclick it, you can see this one still remains active here like that, whereas the other ones are grayed out. But more or less, it works like you would expect. Of course, repeating reminders tasks are going to make your calendar look even more crowded. So you're probably going to want to toggle this on and off as needed, even more if you've got those. And of course, not only does this work on the iPhone and iPad as well in a similar way using the reminders and calendar apps there, but if your calendars are saved in iCloud, then doing this on one device does it on all of them. So having a new reminder added on your Mac, you'll be able to see that in the calendar on your iPhone as long as you've got schedule reminders enabled there as well. So in the calendar app on my iPhone here, I won't see these events unless I go down here to the calendar button and I turn on scheduled reminders, and then I'll see those items appear there, just like on the Mac. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. Want to know about every new MACMOST video each week? Sign up for the absolutely free MACMOST email newsletter at macmost.com/newsletter.